The DJI Flip has been out for a few days now, and there's been a lot of reviews on it. I just got mine. Let's take a look at it. Marcus here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, there is an advantage to not getting a drone for pre-review. I get to see some of the other reviewers. They had them for weeks in advance and they were able to fly them. And so I kind of have some ideas about the drone. But I don't want to sour my review by what I may have seen elsewhere. I want to fly it myself and find out. So yeah, let's take this guy out of the box. Let's take a look at it. I'm going to show you. I ordered the standard kit. I'm going to show you what comes in the standard kit. And then we'll take it out in the field. We'll fly it and I'll give you some impressions. Okay, I also like to show you the box itself. So on the front side here, picture of the drone, DJI right there. Backside mostly regulatory, tells you what's in the box, and DJI Care Refresh, etc. And actually, I guess, yeah, this side tells you what's in the box. DJI Flip kind of gives you a list there. And yeah, then the top, let's get this guy open. Okay, looks like we have a tab here that'll help us pull the plastic off. That's pretty handy. And look at that. Peels right off. I appreciate that. You don't need a knife then to get the cellophane off. Then the top of the box itself just flips up. And let's turn it around the other way here. And yeah, there you can see. So it looks pretty simple. You got a little desiccant there. And then you pull, there's the drone itself. Yeah, let me move the box so you can see that bag. Much bigger than I thought it would be. That's a pretty good sized little product there. And then let's see what else is in the box here. Of course, DJI always gives you a ton of documentation. That's not a bad thing. And then in this last box, yeah, okay, so I can see the very top there we got some spare props. And then I'm sure, well, let's get those out of the way. Under that, right there, is going to be the RC. So there's the RCN3. Then I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but off on the side here is all of our OTG cables, etc. Okay, let's get the accessories out of the way first. One clockwise, one counterclockwise prop, documentation. This is the lightning cable. I'm sure the USB-C to USB-C is already on the controller. You got a little screwdriver and, of course, a USB to USB-C cable. Now let's take a look at the RCN3. So by now we're all well used to this style of controller. This is the RCN3, and we can look on the back here. And if you look real closely right there, it says RCN3. So same as ever, you got the control sticks on the bottom here, and then the gimbals themselves. Function button, pause and return to home button, power button, and then speed button right there. And as I suspected, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but the USB-C to USB-C cable is already installed there, and that's the one that I'll use with my iPhone. And then, of course, you got a gimbal wheel for moving the camera, and then the take a picture and record button right there. And I almost forgot, this button right here is what switches this between record and take a photo. And what we've all been waiting for, the drone itself. And you know, we know how we've all seen enough reviews. We know how those props fold. Again, it's bigger than what I would have thought. Here's my hand over the top of it. It's pretty good sized. So I don't know how much battery power there's going to be in there. But let's unfold it and see if it powers on. Okay, before we fire it up here, I know we need to take the gimbal cover off, and I know it's a little bit different on this drone than other DJI drones. You can see there is a tab right here, same on the other side, so you're going to push both of those in and pull that up, and underneath you're going to find a little neoprene cover on the camera. Let's see if we can get that guy off. Yeah, it comes right off. Now that's curious to me because this is supposed to be a quick deploy product, and that's an extra step you have to take. But there's that 1/1.3 sensor camera with it's a 3-axis gimbal. This dark plastic piece here at the top has an infrared sensor within it, and that is the the forward-facing obstacle avoidance system, and then it also has a display to tell you what mode the drone is in. And on this side you got the usual DJI power button right there. You got the release for the battery, and then on the other side here, SD card slot, USB-C slot, and this is the mode function controller. We'll see how that works. Let's go ahead and see if we can pull the battery off. And we can. There's that battery. I'll tell you, I have a tough time reading that small print. I can't remember how many milliamp hours it is. Don't quote me on this, but I thought they said 30 minutes flying time, and most people are getting about 20 minutes out of it. Okay, let's open up the drone. Now I know that it is supposed to, I've been told that it turns on when you open up the last arm. So we're going to open up the back two arms here, and we'll see if it fires up. And no, it does not. So it's smart enough to know that the battery hasn't been charged yet. But boy, take a look. That is a good sized drone. Let me flip it around the other way here. That is a good sized drone. And yeah, if I'd have looked at the back side, it's telling charge to activate the battery before using the first time. So we got to get that battery on the charger. But kind of like what other people have said, I'm kind of holding this here, and you know, you can see I can stick my finger right between those spokes of the wheel. So be careful when you're hand launching and hand catching this drone. Okay, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to get this flip charged up and get it out in the field. And by the way, if I didn't mention it, it is a sub 250 gram drone, and it's very, very light. As big as it is, it's still very, very light. So yeah, let me get it charged up. We'll get it out in the field and we'll give it a flight. Hey, okay, we're out in the field. And trust me on this, it is a less than ideal day to be flying the new DJI Flip. It is bitter cold. It's about 32 degrees. My fingers are already cold here. And of course, one of the things is for my very first flight with this drone, what were we going to do? Were we going to do a tracking video where we're going to try out the quick shots, or I guess they don't call them quick shots anymore, whatever they call them, the automated flight modes. A lot of things to try with this drone, but I think what I'm going to do today for my first flight, we're just going to fly it with the controller. I've got the RCN3 controller, as you saw earlier. So I'm going to take off from a landing pad, and instead of hand launching or hand catching. And I don't know if this drone has any kind of precision landing, but just for the fun of it, we'll see if it does. We're going to fly it around. I'm at a local park here, Kleiner Park, and we're going to see, because I'm familiar with this place, it's a good place to have my first flight. And we'll just check out the video quality. Again, it's not an ideal day. It's cloudy, it's cold, it's kind of a gloomy day. Why do they release drones in the middle of winter like this? That's what I want to know. It's the middle of winter, DJI. You couldn't have released this thing in the spring or earlier in the fall. Anyway, let's quit messing around. Let's get this bird in the air. Oh, one more thing I want to show you as I unfold it here. Well, let's take the camera guard off first. And again, you got to pull that off, and you got this little neoprene cover, which I think is really a curious choice. You know, because this drone is supposed to be quick to deploy. But anyway, it must be there for a reason. But one of the things you all know is you unflip the front arms or props first, and then the back ones, and the drone turns on. However, when I did the firmware update, and I guess I forgot to mention that, I did do the recent firmware update. I'll put that on the screen right now. But when I did the firmware update, I disabled the ability in the app for it to turn on when you open it up. I'd just as soon push the button myself and decide when the drone comes on. So anyway, just what I did. Wow, it's cold. Let's quit messing around. Let's fly this drone. Okay, I've got a screen recorder started here, and let's go back to that startup page. Whoops, I don't want to do that. Let's see what it says. Care refresh is available. We're not going to mess with that now. It says no fly spots are nearby, and this is a warning zone. Okay, if you go by DJI speak, You cannot fly, I think it's over 190 meters or something in this area in DJI's little warning zones. However, as you know, we can't go over 120 meters legally anyway, so I don't know what the point of that is. But anyway, let's click on Go Fly. And I also wanted to point out that this is my first time using my Action 5 camera. I got a new Action 5, replaced the Action 4. I'll show you a picture of that right now. But anyway, okay, so we've got the drone on the pad there, as you can see. I'm going to go into the safety menu. Yeah, OA is on brake. There is no bypass on this drone. We want the radar map on. Return to home altitude is set at 35 meters, max altitude 120 meters, which is max legal. AR settings are on. I can show you that, I guess. AR settings are all on. And not asking for any calibrations, and you can see that's where I turned off that unfold arm to power on. Fold arm to power off, I left that on. That makes sense to me. You fold it up and it's going to shut off. Let's see, if you're interested in the firmware package, there it is right there. So you get to see that. Let's take a look at our camera settings here. Well, let's switch to video number 1, and it says 4K 30. I want to crank that up to 60 frames per second. So we're in 4K 60, and you can see you could go to the vertical format if you wanted to. We don't want to do that here. And 4K, and put it down to 24. Let's go back up to 60. So we're good to go there. We're using the attitude indicator rather than the map. I see no reason not to take off. Let's start recording. Recording has started, and then let's do an automated takeoff. Holding down that button, and geozone nearby, flight restriction in effect. What the heck? We are not anywhere close to any geozones. Yeah, I mean, you saw on AirWare I posted. I don't know. Let's try that again. I'm thinking the drone is confused on where it's at. A seaplane base, it says. Well, I guarantee you there are no seaplane bases near here, so something is messed up. Let's go in. I'm going to switch to the map. That was interesting. Now let's go to the map. So the map, it clearly knows where we are. We're not near, this is the park. We're not near any seaplane base, so there's not a sea anywhere near here. Switching back, and let me see if I can switch back to the attitude indicator. Whoop. There we are. We got the attitude indicator back. Boy, my fingers are already cold. Let's go straight up, because I know on the other drones they want you to go like 7 meters high before you move off, and you can get a precision landing. It's cold, man. I'm trying to think here. It's hard to think and fly at the same time. But let's go up here. And I suppose naturally the first thing to do would be to do an orbit around the sculpture here. As you guys know, I like to do that. So we'll do a manual orbit, and we'll see how the drone does. Let's get some altitude. We're not high enough here. 40 meters high. That's pretty good. And I see some people walking around, but we're well away from where they're at. So yeah, let's just see if we can do. And you know, you saw on UAV forecast we got a little bit of wind, and I know other reviewers have talked about how the wind can adversely affect this particular drone, but it seems to be doing okay here. We're not getting any wind warnings or anything like that, and I can tell you it's in typical DJI fashion. The flight controls are working pretty good, and I seem to be able to do a manual orbit even in the cold with my fingers freezing off. Seems to work quite well. What we didn't do was our usual droney. Let me bring this guy back around. And again, I think what we kind of want to focus on here is the video quality, and because this drone, as we all know, has a very similar camera to the DJI Mini 4. So I'm trying to push the drone sideways in normal mode, and it's struggling. 2 meters per second. I don't know what that's about. I'm pushing the right stick all the way to the left. Yeah, and it's top speed, so it's struggling in the wind. So this is not going to replace, I can tell you that, this is not going to replace your, and I'm bringing it down here. It comes down pretty fast, let me tell you. Yeah, and I was watching. The reason you saw the drone kind of moving around there is because I was watching the drone, and it's definitely moving around in the wind. So let's bring it down here, and let's see if we can do our droney. So, which that we usually do. I'm kind of off my game here because of the cold. Reverse and up now. Reverse and up. Yeah, and it's, I can just tell you, it is not as responsive. If I was doing this in the Mini 4, it's definitely not as responsive. There's no question about it. Let me pick up that camera and get you to the rule of thirds. You can see kind of the day we're having today. There's sun off that direction, and boy, you can see the snow on the Boise front there. We're over the field here next door. We're about 60 meters high, so about around 200 feet. And I'm seeing on the radar map on the controller, I'm getting a little bit of some obstacle avoidance stuff, some red lines. I don't know what that's all about, because there is certainly nothing, there's nothing up there. We're in a clear area here, but I just kind of want to show you. It's a gloomy, cold day. Everything's gray. You look off towards the Oahe Mountains there, and there's the clouds, and there's no sunshine when she's gone. Boy, I'll tell you that. We need some sunshine today. So yeah, let's just bring it down a little bit here and take a look at at this intersection. And I'll kind of move around a little bit here, just kind of giving you a look so you can decide on what you think of the video. And again, we're shooting in 4K, 60 frames per second. That's a Walmart right there, and a CarMax right here. Let's bring it back over the park, and let's see if we can get over the so man, sorry, that was a really quick yaw there. So let's see, I'm going full speed in normal mode here, and 7 meters per second. Okay, I want to try something. I want to turn it around just the other way. Sorry, you're going to see a real quick yaw here, but this is an experiment. Let's go back the opposite direction, and let's see how fast we can go. 7 meters, almost 8 meters per second, 7.8. I think I saw 7.9 there at the end. I just wanted to see in normal mode what kind of speed. So 8 meters per second, that's about 18, 19 miles an hour, something like that. Okay, let's switch it into sport mode here, and let's go full stick forward, and we'll get out over the pond. And boy, my fingers are cold. 68% battery. We're doing well on battery power here. We've been had the camera going for over 7 minutes. Let's drop some altitude as we come back. And yeah, we'll give it a pause for a second, let those cars go by, and yeah, come down as we go here. And sport mode doesn't seem to be going that much faster, so let's just go straight out over the ponds. I'm not going to go any lower. We're about 29 meters high. There's waterfowl down there, so we're going to let them do what they do. and not try and scare them off. So 7 meters per second, and now it's slowing down significantly, and that's in sport mode. So this drone isn't going to be any speed demon, I'll tell you that. We're in sport mode, 6 meters per second. It's, yeah, you're not going to be going terribly fast. Let's drop the camera down as we go by here. Look at all the ducks and geese and seagulls and everything there on the pond as it's frozen over. They're all sitting on top of the ice. There's the famous band shell. What the heck? We might as well go out here and look at the see if there's any brave souls in 32-degree weather, freezing weather, playing pickleball. Is there anybody out there? Yeah, it looks like there's some people standing there. I don't know that they're playing. Well, that's one of the things that we can try. Let's crop in on that sensor. Let's do the whoop. Sorry about that. I accidentally stopped recording. We're going to start recording again. And function, I was trying to zoom in. There we go. Function button, zoom in. Look at that. There are people in 32-degree weather playing pickleball. Good for them, man. That is awesome. Okay, so you got to look at the zoom there too. So yeah, let me pick the camera back up. And yeah, sorry about stopping recording there, but I think we got her going here. There is the village at Meridian off in the distance there. Let's bring this guy back to us. And again, we're in sport mode. I'm heading directly back to us. And let's see how fast. Yeah, so now we're hauling the mail. So we must have the wind with us. We're at about 12 meters per second. So that's about 27, 28 miles an hour, something like that. It's moving along pretty good. So, yeah. Okay, let's bring it down. And I don't know. Let me see if I can do a little. We're just going to do a little tracking via the app. So let's see if this guy will recognize me. If I stand, whoops, in sport mode there. Let's switch it back to normal. Man, my fingers are frickin' freezing, folks. So anyway, let's stand up. I'm gonna click that button up in the top left, and unable to use focus track during recording format. So I'm sure what they mean there is that I need to switch it to 30 frames per second. So let's do that. I'll stop recording. Switching to 30 frames per second, starting recording. Let's try that. Let's see if focus track will work now. Yeah, tap or draw a box around the subject. So it does. It's got a plus by me, so let's hit that plus. Obstacle sensing unavailable, watch out. So we're gonna go, let's see what happens if we go in active track here. So active track, yeah, it doesn't really, so it looks like it's just gonna follow me. So you don't get that 360 track that you do like with the Mini 4 or something. But it's following me okay. So we'll try that out here. Let's see if it'll, let's see what we can do. And again, it's saying that obstacle avoidance is not available. What happens if I turn around and walk towards it? Yeah, it's just staying right there, looking down, and it'll turn around and it'll follow me. Okay. So basically, when you're using the app, all it's going to do is follow you. So I'm kind of out in an open area here. Let's stop and let's do a POI and let's start this guy. Yeah, so it'll do an orbit around me, and we should be able to walk around and it'll follow me. Now, again, you see me stick my hands in my pocket. It's freaking cold. if I walked in amongst the trees and so forth here, I could definitely make the drone run into a tree because it doesn't have sideways obstacle avoidance. And part of the point of this particular drone is that it's got those prop cages that would protect it from much damage. But yeah, that works. Let's stop right there. Okay, battery-wise, we're at 38% battery. I think that's probably about all we want to do. This is my first battery going through this particular drone. Let's send it out here, and then we'll do a return to home. So let's send it up and away and back. And again, it's no speed demon. You know, we're about 30 meters high. It's a different sound. I don't think I have any other drone that sounds quite like that. Oh, I still have it in spotlight mode, so we definitely want to get out of that. So I turned that off. Sorry about that. But it's still recording. Okay, so that's good. And again, now we're in 30 frames per second. Let's go ahead and back it up here a ways. Full speed backwards, about 5 meters per second in normal mode. So again, those prop cages are going to affect your speed and the handling. It's just, you know, I always describe like the Air 3S and even the Mini 4 as being somewhat athletic. You can move them around quickly. This is not that. Sluggish is not the right word, but the drone doesn't respond as fast to inputs. And again, I'm seeing some, like on the obstacle avoidance, it's looking at something I'm seeing on the screen recording there, if you see it. If you look up in kind of the top right, you'll see a little line once in a while. Well, now it's stopped. As soon as I said that, it stopped. Well, there it goes again. So I don't know what that is. But anyway, enough of that. 28% battery. Let's hit return to home. I did that on the controller. And let's see if, I don't know if this thing, you know, we get the augmented reality, the green line, etc. But I do not know if we'll get a precision landing or not. So let's see. Let's just let the drone come back. We'll just see what it does. We took off right from the center of the pad, so, and it's coming home pretty slow. I mean, it's, yeah, from 2 meters to that. Now it's a little faster, but it's bobbing and weaving up there. Yeah, now it's speeding up and slowing down, speeding up and slowing down. If you're looking at the telemetry, it's pretty crazy. So there's more wind up there. It's almost back to us here, but let's see. It's doing its best. I'm watching the drone too, and it tilts forward and then moves back. I wish I could get a picture of this. Let me see if I can hold the camera up. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but it's moving in fits and spurts. So let's see if it starts to come down here. And it's kind of close to the tree, but I think it's going to be okay. Yeah, I don't see anything that indicates a precision landing. So we'll see. I am going to pause right there, and then we'll see if I can fly it down onto the landing pad, if my fingers will allow. Aircraft battery level low. Return to home promptly. Yeah, under 20%. So there you can see the drone shadow. Let's back it up here. And there's that landing pad. See if I can get it over the top. Move it. I'm going into cine mode here. Get right over the top of that pad. I'm going to pull down on that stick now. And yeah, you guys are seeing it on the action camera. Straight down. And there we are on the pad. Hey, okay, my first flight with the DJI Flip, flying it with the controller, it doesn't react to the controls nearly as quickly. It's not as responsive, I guess is a better word, as like a Mini 4 Pro. You definitely can tell a difference. A couple of interesting observations. When it was on its return to home, boy, it was coming in fits and spurts, and I could see it on the telemetry, and when I looked up at the drone, it was flat. It would tilt forward and then go flat, tilt forward and then go flat. So I don't know what that's all about, but I don't, you know, if you're looking for a drone that you fly just to get, you know, normal camera drone stuff, it works, but it's not going to be as responsive as even like a DJI Mini 2 or something like that. Now, I know the camera footage will look good because it's got the same camera as the 1/1.3 sensor, same camera as the Mini 4 Pro. We shot in 60 frames per second, so for the first part of it, and then we did the tracking, we put it in 30 frames. Tracked just fine. We tried that out. It worked just fine, although it doesn't have, again, doesn't have all the features that you get with the Mini 4 Pro, where you can move it, you know, whatever side, the 360 track, I guess. You don't get that with this. So kind of interesting for a vlogging drone. It, again, bitter cold day today, so I did what I could to kind of give you kind of a feel for the drone here. But in any case, DJI, can you start releasing your drones in the spring, fall, or summer, please? That's about it. This is Marcus with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out, and if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I appreciate that you took the time to look at this video, and I'm going to get back in my car and get warm. See you guys later. Bye.